It's past midnight, not the kind of silence that feels peaceful, but the kind that makes every small sound feel important. The lights are off, your phone is face down. The world feels asleep, and then a voice speaks. Hello, your body freezes because no human is there. The voice didn't come from the hallway, it didn't come from outside. It didn't come from a device, it came from a cage. A parrot is looking directly at you, a bird, covered in feathers, with eyes that seem a little too aware, and suddenly, something feels wrong. Because this shouldn't be possible. Parrots don't have lips. They don't have mouths shaped like ours. They don't have vocal cords like humans. And yet, they speak. They say words we recognize. They repeat laughter. They copy voices we love. But here's the unsettling part. They don't speak randomly. Many parrots say hello when you walk into the room. They say goodbye when you leave. They call your name when they want attention. That timing is not accidental, and that raises a disturbing question. Is the parrot simply repeating sounds, or does it understand when to use them? Because repetition is easy, but timing requires awareness. And awareness is something we rarely associate with birds. Yet parrots force us to question that assumption. Scientists have spent decades studying parrots, and what they found changed the way we understand animal intelligence. Because inside a parrot's brain, something unexpected is happening. And that's where tonight's midnight question truly begins. Why does a bird sound like us? And if nature allowed parrots to imitate human speech, what else might they understand? Tonight, we begin searching for the answer. To understand how parrots talk, we first have to understand how they think. Inside a parrot's brain are highly advanced neural pathways. Pathways designed for learning, memory, and sound imitation. What shocked scientists was how similar these pathways are to the human brain regions responsible for speech. This means parrots don't just hear sounds. They process them, they recognize patterns, they remember voices, they connect words with situations. A parrot doesn't say hello because it feels like it. It says hello because it learned that sound belongs to that moment. Some parrots even change the way they speak depending on who is nearby. They may use one voice with one person and a different tone with another. This behavior suggests something deeper than imitation, because imitation alone doesn't explain understanding context. In multiple studies, parrots demonstrated the ability to identify objects, remember sequences, solve simple problems, and respond correctly to questions. This leads to an uncomfortable realization. Parrots might not understand language the way humans do, but they understand meaning. And meaning is powerful. It allows communication. It allows connection. So when a parrot speaks at the right moment, it may not be guessing. It may be choosing, and if a bird can choose when to speak, what else can it choose? This is why parrots are considered some of the most intelligent non-human creatures on Earth, but intelligence alone doesn't explain their voice. For that, we need to look deeper at how parrots create sound. Humans speak using vocal cords. It's something we never question. Sound comes from the throat, shaped by the mouth, guided by the tongue. Parrots don't have any of that. No vocal cords, no human-shaped mouth, no lips, and yet, they speak. From a biological point of view, this should not be possible. But nature doesn't follow human expectations. Deep inside a parrot's body exists a hidden organ called the syrinx. It sits at the base of the lungs, far from where human speech is created. And unlike vocal cords, the syrinx can work from two sides at the same time. This allows parrots to control sound with extreme precision, pitch, tone, volume, rhythm, but more importantly, emotional texture. A parrot doesn't just copy what you say, it copies how you say it. Your laughter, your frustration, your excitement, sometimes even your sadness. This is why a parrot's voice can feel unsettling. Because it doesn't sound like a bird pretending to be human. It sounds like a human presence coming from the wrong body, and that's where discomfort begins. There are countless reports of parrots imitating one specific person perfectly. Not just a random voice, a partner, a parent. Someone who used to be around often. Imagine hearing a familiar voice call your name from an empty room. Your brain reacts before logic has time to catch up. Because humans associate voices with identity. When identity appears without a human body, the mind struggles to process it. For a brief moment, the parrot stops being a bird. It becomes an echo, an imitation so accurate that it creates the illusion of presence. And illusion is powerful, because once the brain accepts it, reality bends. This forces us to confront an uncomfortable truth. Parrots don't just imitate sound. They imitate us, our voices, our emotions, our behavioral patterns, and when a non-human creature can reproduce something this personal, it weakens the boundary we believe separates us from the animal world. So here is the question we rarely ask: if a bird can master the human voice so perfectly, how fragile is the line between human and non-human communication? And more importantly, were we ever as unique as we believed? Some parrots don't just talk. They wait, they listen, and then they respond. Not immediately, not randomly, but in a way that feels deliberate. This is where parrots stop feeling like animals that copy sound and start feeling like beings that understand interaction. One of the most famous parrots ever studied was named Alex. Alex was not trained like a circus animal. He was taught the meaning behind words. And what researchers discovered through him was unsettling. Alex could identify colors correctly. He could count objects. He understood ideas like bigger, smaller, same, and different, but the most important discovery wasn't what Alex knew. It was how he reacted. When Alex failed to answer a question, he showed frustration. When he succeeded, his tone changed. When he was ignored, he became quiet. That silence was not emptiness, it was emotional response. And emotional response suggests awareness. Awareness suggests understanding. This forced scientists to reconsider something uncomfortable. Maybe parrots are not just intelligent, maybe they are emotionally aware. To understand why, we have to look at parrots in the wild. Parrots are not designed to live alone. They are born into noise, into constant communication. In the wild, parrots live in large flocks. They call to each other constantly. Communication keeps them safe. Silence often means danger. When parrots are taken into human homes, their entire reality changes. The flock disappears, and humans slowly take its place. Humans become the new source of safety, the new source of attention, the new source of emotional feedback, so parrots adapt. They don't learn to talk to impress us, they learn to talk to stay connected. Language becomes a bridge, a way to maintain belonging, a way to avoid emotional isolation. When a parrot speaks, it is not performing, it is reaching out. And that makes every word it says feel heavier than we expect. Not every parrot talks, some remain silent for their entire lives. Some learn only a few sounds, others speak constantly, almost as if silence frightens them. What creates this difference? It is not intelligence alone. It is environment, repetition, emotional bonding. Parrots do not learn language in isolation. They learn it through presence, through shared moments, through emotional reactions. Some parrots remember words they heard years ago. Some recognize people after long separations. Some even invent sounds just to trigger a reaction. Midnight fact. Certain parrots can recognize themselves in mirrors. This ability is extremely rare in the animal kingdom. Self-recognition suggests self-awareness, and self-awareness changes everything. Because once awareness exists, communication becomes intentional. This brings us to tonight's final question. When a parrot speaks, is it copying language? Or is it searching for connection? When it calls your name, is it repeating a sound? Or is it reaching for presence? Because if parrots can reflect our voices, our emotions, our timing, then maybe parrots are not becoming human. Maybe they are revealing something uncomfortable. That communication is not unique to us, that awareness is not exclusive. And that intelligence exists on a spectrum, not a hierarchy. Perhaps the real mystery is not why parrots can talk. Perhaps the mystery is why we are surprised. Some questions don't arrive with answers. They arrive with silence, with echoes, with reflection. This was Midnight Questions, where curiosity doesn't comfort you. It follows you. Good night or good morning.